welcome to another reading vlog. I have missed vlogging so much and I'm happy to be back starting the beginning of a vlog, and it's very exciting because I am on my spring break, and so for a whole week I do not have classes, but unfortunately I still have to go to work every day this week because there is no such thing as spring break from work. At least I don't have to go to my own classes because my classes are in the evening hours, so for a whole week my evenings will be free and I am so excited for it. So what's the best way to celebrate a break from life is to dive into reading and start a reading vlog. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Again, I'm just so excited to be vlogging again. I haven't vlogged in the longest time. So since I still have to work this week, I don't have any plans. I mean, my only plan is to sit here and read in the evening times when I can. So I wanted to come on here before I have to go to work for the day to just let you guys know what I'm reading right now, and that is Redemptor by Jordan Fuego. This is the second book to Raybearer, and it's the last book because this is a duology, so this is the second and final book. I read Raybearer towards the end of February, beginning of March, and I absolutely loved it. The easiest 5 stars I give into a book in a while, and so I immediately ordered Redemptor on Amazon and began reading it. I am 118 pages into Redemptor, and right now, I'm like so sad to say that it's pretty slow right now and it's taking me a long time to get through the beginning part, but I'm waiting for the meat of this book to actually begin and then hopefully it will start to pick up. So I'm just enjoying the ride and hopefully I can finish this book by like tomorrow at the latest so then I can start a new book. Those are my reading plans for now. I have about an hour before I have to go to work for the day. So I'm gonna eat some lunch and do some reading before I have to go and start my day. But I just wanted to come on here and say, hello, welcome to this week's reading vlog. And then I'm excited to be back and I can't wait to see what books I pick up next because I have no idea what I wanna read this week. I do have some graphic novels that I'm gonna throw in that I got from the library throughout the week, so I'm excited for that. But in terms of physical books, I have no idea, and I haven't started an audiobook yet, so we'll see what book I pick up on the way to work and I will let you guys know. Good morning, it's Tuesday. I was definitely supposed to update this vlog last night, but I was just so tired. I was relaxing. I didn't feel like moving and getting my camera out and all that kind of stuff. So here I am the next morning giving you guys this long overdue update. Yesterday I had work. I am a tutor, so I had 2 sessions of tutoring yesterday, but one of them actually ended up being canceled. So I only had 1 session and I was like, it's really spring break for your girl because now I'm home earlier than I'm supposed to. I was able to catch the basketball game. I was able to watch wrestling with my brother. We do that every Monday. For the students who I do tutor every day, we are currently reading Great Gatsby. So I had to read chapter 2 of that book because that's due today. And we're going to discuss it and do all the fun things with chapter 2 of Great Gatsby. So I had to read that. And then I did read a bit of Redemptor, but not too much. And so hopefully today's a better reading day in terms of Redemptor. Not too much going on the TV side. So hopefully I could just come home and do some reading. The only thing I have today is a nail appointment because these babies are ready to be changed. I've had them for a minute now, so I am ready to get a new nail look. I'm thinking either lavender or green color, not too sure, but of course, we'll find out later today when I have my appointment. So one last thing is that my book of the month box came yesterday, so I'm super excited for it. I chose The Cartographers by Pink Shepherd as my book of the month for March, but then I did end up getting 2 add-ons because my bank account was looking good and because book of the month is currently moving from 5 to 7 choices a month. So in March, there were a bunch of really good books, and so I was really having a hard time deciding which one book I wanted out of the 7. So I ended up getting 2 for March and then an add-on from an earlier month. Cartographers was my book of the month choice for March officially, because of course I love fantasy, and this one has to do with maps and lost secrets and stuff like that, I think. So it sounded really interesting. But also Dating Dr. Dill sounded really interesting by Nisha Sharma. So I had to get this. I mean, the cover is stunning. So I'm interested to see how this romance book is gonna go. Don't know too much about it, but love a good romance. And then the third book I ended up getting was Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. This book has been out for a while, but I've just never gotten my hands on it. And I thought, why not get it from Book of the Month, where I could get it for a little bit cheaper than I would get it elsewhere, because I've heard really good things about it. It was a Book of the Month finalist for last year, so that means people enjoy this book. So I'm excited to get into this as well. And then lastly, it was an exciting month for Book of the Month because it was officially my 12th month being a member. I made it to that BFF status, that brand new BFF feeling, period. I got a tote bag, and I love a good tote bag. It has a book pocket here, so I could put my Book of the Month book there and carry it around. Ooh, how's it look? So, yeah, very exciting. I went overboard in buying books this month, so maybe a haul is going to be coming soon because I just really overdid it, but I'm not mad about it because the books I bought are fire. Hopefully. I haven't read them, so we'll see. But yeah, that is pretty much it. I'm about to go to the gym, if you can't tell. Work out, come back, and I have one session of tutoring today. And then, like I said, I have my nail appointment. And then hopefully the rest of the day is dedicated to reading. So I will talk to you guys later. Hello. It is Tuesday evening. I am back from tutoring. I'm back from getting my nails done. I decided on this really cute, like olive green color because, you know, March, spring, St. Patrick's Day, like March is giving green. So I decided to try that out. I don't think I've ever really gotten a green nail color before, besides a green French tip that I got for my birthday last year. So I thought this would be a fun color to try, and I'm in love with it, and I'm very happy with my decision. So we love that. And look, the wash and go is fresh. It's here, and I'm looking semi-cute. It is, I think, about 6 p.m. And hello, can we notice that it's still light outside because daylight savings ended, and we're finally gonna get sunlight for longer now. Summer is coming. But you know, the time change does trick me because I'm used to it being dark around this time or starting to get dark. And so I look at the clock and I think that it's still early in the day, but it's really like 7:30. And I'm like, let me get my evening going, you know? So there's that. But at the end of the day, I do enjoy sunlight. So I am taking advantage of all the sunlight I can get. So now that I've done all of my duties for the day, I can really focus on Redemptor. I read a little bit last night, so I'm on page 163 now, and it's still going pretty slow, I have to say. The big premise of this book still hasn't happened, and I really needed to start soon. I knew there was going to be build up before the big plot comes into the book, but I didn't think it was going to take 200 plus pages to do so. So I'm kind of not happy about that, but I'm still excited for the book. I'm still anticipating the rest of the book. I just want to be done so that I can read more books this week. Hopefully we get a good chunk of this read tonight. I don't know if I'll finish the entire thing tonight as I originally planned, but definitely at least 100 pages of this book tonight. I really want to read because I have things to do tomorrow, things to do on Thursday. And before I know it, my spring break is going to be over. So I would like to get a lot of reading done this week, as I've mentioned several times already. So let's get this done. It is Thursday. No, it's Wednesday. It is Wednesday evening, and I'm here to report that I have officially finished Redemptor, and I am debating on giving it either a 3 or 3.5 stars, which means that I've officially finished a series in 2022, which is so exciting because it's definitely one of my goals for 2022 to focus on series, focusing on finishing more series. So this one is checked off of my list. But honestly, I think what did it for me for Redemptor was that the ending of Raybearer was so good. It set up so many things, and I thought that what was set up in the end of Raybearer was going to be more of a main focus in Redemptor. Technically, it was a main focus, but I mean, the actual event happening was not the main focus until the very, very end of the book. And so that's just something that I wasn't really vibing with. There was a heavier focus on the politics of the world in Redemptor. So, I mean, sometimes I vibe with politics and sometimes I don't. And in this case, I didn't necessarily vibe with it. The inner struggles that Tarsai was going through was brought up a lot in the book. And so I found it to be a bit repetitive. It made the story drag a bit. There were an introduction of really interesting new characters to Redemptor, but I did also miss the dynamic and the characters that I grew to love in Raybearer, who did not have as big of a presence in Redemptor as they did in Raybearer. But overall, I enjoyed the story. I still would really recommend Raybearer in this duology. I did like how the ending wrapped up everything nicely, and I did feel satisfied with the ending. I really have not finished too many series, which is why I am focused on that so heavily this year in 2022. So that's why I'm like, I don't know if this was a good ending to a series, but to me, I felt like it was satisfying because all the big storylines and the big unanswered questions ended up being answered by the end or came to a conclusion by the end of the book. So I felt that this was a very nicely well done duology. But I am just happy to have finished a book physically because this year has already been so busy for me with school and added hours for work this semester that I haven't had much time to read physically. And so I'm happy that I was able to get, well, 2 books done physically this month so far. And I'm hopeful that I will get a couple more done by the end of the month. I have no idea what I'm going to pick up next. Your girl has still not read House of Sky and Breath yet, even though I have finished my reread of House of Earth and Blood. And I got this book, of course, on the day it came out and everything. But I just have not had the chance to start this chunk of a book. I don't know. I'm just like, this is so big. Like, I want to finish a book and I don't know if I'm going to finish this book this week. So I'm not sure if I'm going to necessarily pick this up next, but it's definitely going to be picked up soon for me. And I'm happy that I was able to grab the audiobook off of Audible. My mom has a subscription and she still had a credit left for the month. So I literally just texted her and I was like, can I use your credit for this month, please? I need to get the audiobook for House of Sky and Breath. And she said, sure, you can have it. So audiobook secured, which makes reading this big book a little bit less intimidating. So I will definitely be getting to this book very soon. But also I'm thinking of reading Wings of Ebony next because that's another duology series that I've been meaning to read for the longest time. And it's only 2 books, so I feel like I can get that done. And especially if I enjoy Wings of Ebony, I will definitely be reading the sequel right away, right after to finish that out. So maybe that's what I'll read next. Stay tuned to find out what I read next, because the girl doesn't have a clue. Hey guys, happy Thursday. It is St. Patrick's Day, so hopefully you guys are wearing your green or else you're gonna get pinched. I mistakenly wore my green yesterday, as you guys saw in my clip last night. I had on my green shirt, I had green shoes on yesterday. Like, I was rocking the green and forgot that St. Patrick's Day was today and not yesterday. I mean, I wasn't even thinking St. Patrick's Day when I put my clothes on yesterday, so there's that. But that's okay. There's a little bit of green in here and like my nails are green, so we win the day. The only reason why I care about this is because I work with kids and you know how they be about their holidays or their, you know, different outfits they get to wear. So your girl's not getting pinched for nobody's. Anyways, I have just finished my first session of 3 of tutoring today, and man, I was not looking forward to today. I typically only have 2 sessions on Thursdays, but my boss had texted me to see if I could do an extra session for one of my students who's having difficulty figuring out like a recurring meeting time with me. So they were wondering if I could do a Thursday evening meeting with her today. And so I said yes, only because I'm on spring break, but typically the time that I'd be meeting with her today is when I have class on Thursdays. So it's just like a one-time thing. Your girl's trying to make this money. Payday's tomorrow, so we're looking up. Now for is the reading update. As you saw earlier in the clip, I did start a new graphic novel this morning called 1 Year at Ellesmere by Faith Erin Hicks. And I just stumbled upon this in the library a couple of weeks ago because, again, I knew I was going to have spring break and I wanted to read graphic novels so I can, get some books finished during this vlog. But while I was perusing the graphic novel section at the library, this one stood out to me. I know nothing about this author. I know nothing about this book. But hey, we're gonna see how it's going. I've read the first 2 chapters of this book. I didn't know that this book was a middle grade either, so that's cool too, because the characters are like 13 years old. Our main character here, her name is Juniper, I believe, and she is a scholarship student at this boarding school, Ellesmere Academy. And the boarding school is of course filled with rich people, and so Juniper is already standing out because everybody knows that she is the scholarship student. It's already hard for Juniper to make friends, and so being singled out as the scholarship kid is not helping her. There are the typical mean girls at this boarding school, but Jupiter has already kind of stood up against the mean girls and stood up to the defense of her new friend and roommate Cassie. That's all that we have seen so far. Again, I'm enjoying the art style. I don't know how I enjoy the plot necessarily, but I'm just here for a good time. And then I've decided that my next physical book is going to be Wings of Ebony by JL. I mean, we've already know my story with this book. It's just been on my TBR on my shelf for the longest time. So I say it is time for me to pick this book up and actually read it. I haven't started it yet, but I'm just still very excited to read this book and finally get to meet Rue and figure out what's happening in Houston and Gizon, the secret country of gods, where she is taken to once her mother is murdered, and so her abandoned father comes and takes her to this country, and all of a sudden she realizes she is a half god. But I guess all Rue wants to do is come back to her hometown of Houston to kind of save her sister there or something like that, because she found out that Black kids are being forced into crime and violence in Houston, and so she wants to go back and make sure her sister doesn't succumb into that and just put a stop to it all. But of course there's also an evil in Gizon, so she's gonna have to take care of that as well. This is also a duology, I believe, and the second book has already been released, so as soon as I finish this book I can go ahead and pick up the second book. And so your girl's trying to finish series this year. Like, if I'm gonna start a series, I'm gonna finish it pretty soon after starting the series, if it's a completed series, of course. So that's what I did with Ray Bear and Redemptor. Done. Wings of Ebony, no matter if I enjoy it, your girl's just gonna already have a second book ready to go. I'm also listening to an audiobook, The Chosen One by Echo Brown. I know I haven't really talked about it yet on this vlog, but honestly, it's not like standing out to me or anything, so I'll probably just give my final wrap-up thoughts about it when I actually finish listening to it. It's probably gonna be a 3 stars. It's an enjoyable and interesting book, but there's just nothing really standing out for me right now. But now I must go to my second session of tutoring, and I will talk to you guys hopefully later tonight once I've read some of Wings of Ebony and finished my graphic novel. So your girl looks crazy, but it's Friday. Happy Friday, and we're home. The day is over. This morning I went to the gym, which is why I'm still looking crazy. And then I had tutoring, just one session today, so it was great. We love Fridays. And then during tutoring, while my students were doing an assignment, I had the wild idea to go to the $10 bookstore, especially because the bookstore was in a new location and I hadn't visited this location yet, so I wanted to see like what kind of books they had there. And honestly, it wasn't that great, which was a bit disappointing. I only bought one book, but the one book that I bought, I'm very happy that it was there. And that is the first book in the Expanse series, Leviathan Wakes. I got this for a steal. It was $6 at this bookstore, and then it was also 50% off because I guess fantasy sci-fi books are 50% off on Fridays. So this book was only like $3, so we won the day. And I know this isn't the regular cover for the book that I've seen around, like this one is right here. And they had a copy in the other cover, but it was a smaller book, and I didn't want that just in case I did end up continuing with the series. I want, at least all the books to be the same size. So I went for this one. I mean, you can't really beat it, so I'm not mad. And honestly, I have no idea what this book is about besides the fact that it's sci-fi and it's adult. And I think it actually takes place in outer space. I just have heard a few booktubers talk about this book over the years, and so I've always had an interest in it, but it is like a long series, like 8 or 9 books, so I wanted to try this book out before I went and of course bought the whole series. So I'm very happy that I was able to find this book for such a good price. Other updates, of course, is that I finished reading 1 Year at Ellesmere last night, and I'm gonna give it a 3 stars. It was a very cute read. Nothing really special about the plot. Of course, the art style is stunning, so 5 stars for that. Nothing too much was going on. It was really just about Juniper, who I was saying is the scholarship student coming to this rich boarding school, and we have one of the other students here who's like the mean girl. But the one thing I did like about this book is that instead of Juniper being bullied by this mean girl at the school, Juniper actually like automatically stands up for herself and knows her worth, know that she deserves to be there. So Juniper and the mean girl end up having like a rivalry and compete against each other in various activities. But other than that, there wasn't much plot going on. We do have the friendship between Juniper and Cassie, who is rich, has been going to Ellesmere Academy like her whole life, but she doesn't have much faith in herself academically. And so Juniper is able to help her bring her confidence up in herself. So I also did enjoy that part as well. If you just want a quick, cute read to, get some books read and to get more into graphic novels, I would definitely recommend this one. And then lastly, I did start Wings of Ebony this morning, and I'm very much enjoying the book so far. It really jumps into the action right away. I had no idea what to expect from this book, and what happened so far definitely was not what I expected. I mean, I'm only 25 pages into the book, so I don't really have any thoughts at all yet. Just I enjoyed the first few opening chapters, and I'm ready to see what's going to happen next. Like I said, it's Friday, so my week is almost over. I'm gonna have to start going back to the reality of school, which is disgusting. So I'm definitely going to utilize my time today and this weekend to still get as much reading done as I can. Like, I really want to finish Wings of Ebony by tomorrow or Sunday at the latest, so I can have finished another book before going back to school as well. So crossing my fingers. I'm gonna shower, eat some dinner, and all your girl's gonna do is watch basketball and read books tonight. So I'm excited. Hello, so I am here to wrap up this vlog because unfortunately spring break is over for me. Like, I literally have class in 20 minutes, so I think it's about time to wrap up this vlog. I had such an amazing and wonderful and peaceful week. Yes, I still had to work and do a couple of other things, but overall I read a whole bunch. I read pretty much 4 books this week. So first, to wrap up my weekend, so on Saturday I ended up going to a local college campus with one of my very best friends, and we had a super cute reading date together. My friend, she was reading the second book of the Children of Blood and Bone series, and she ended up finishing that book while we were there, and I read a whole bunch of Wings of Ebony. So that was really nice. And then on Sunday, my boyfriend and I went to the Santa Monica Pier. We had breakfast in the area, and then we went to the pier. It was really windy, which is why a bunch of the clips were like, my hair was just all the way around, and it was doing a lot, but that's because it was windy there. But we still had a wonderful time walking around, doing a little bit of shopping and sightseeing, and we ended up reading Pumpkinhead Heads Together, the graphic novel. We haven't finished it yet, but we definitely are going to finish it up this week. And it was just so cute to kind of have like somebody to read the book with. We would read together out loud and I would be one of the characters and he would be another character. And so yeah, it was just super cute and I'm happy that I got to experience that with him. We've never read like a book together. I ended up finishing Wings of Ebony last night and I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed the storyline. I wasn't expecting to hop right into the adventure starting in chapter 1, but that's definitely how the book started. And the adventure was fast paced. It kept going throughout the entire book. There were no slow parts, definitely a fast paced book. And I enjoyed Rue's character. She's very strong. She's very stubborn. She goes hard for the people she loves and she's not going to let anybody get in the way. And she's not going to let this evil presence that's lurking both in Houston and in Gizon stop her from saving the day. I really enjoyed JL's writing style. Of course, this is my first book I read by JL because this was her debut novel, but her writing style kind of reminded me of Angie Thomas. And y'all know how much I love Angie Thomas on this channel. So that was a pleasant surprise. And when I say that, I just mean in terms of the dialogue and the slang and the lingo that the characters have with each other is very much so relatable and definitely how I talk with my friends. So I really did enjoy seeing that aspect of my own life expressed in a book. The only reason why I would say I didn't give this book a full 5 stars is because it still read a bit YA to me. And there were just some parts where I was like, we could have worded that a bit differently. So it's not read like YA. I don't know. Like, obviously this is a YA book, so I understand why it's written in this way. But there are some parts where I was like, this situation could have been handled in a different way. But regardless, I still really enjoyed the book. And I have ordered the second book, Ashes of Gold. So I will be starting this one next so I can go ahead and knock out another duology. Because also in the vlog, I read Redemptor, which was the second and finale to the Raybearer series by Jordan Fueko, which I gave a 3.5 stars is what I ended up giving this book. And then lastly, I did read this graphic novel, 1 Year at Ellesmere by Faith Erin Hicks, who's also the illustrator of Pumpkinhead. So that's kind of where the connection falls here. And I ended up giving this graphic novel a 3 out of 5 stars because it was cute, it was wholesome, but there was just no complexity to the story. Oh, also I finished listening to The Chosen One on audiobook by Echo Brown and I ended up giving that one a 3 stars as well because it was good. The writing style was great, but it just wasn't giving me a 5-star vibe. Like, it was okay. The writing was good. The story was powerful. I read Echo Brown's first novel and I believe I gave it a 5 stars because it was just so powerful, so heart-wrenching and emotional. So I gave that a 5 stars. So I was hoping for the same vibes in The Chosen One, but something about it just didn't fall for me. So I gave it a 3 stars, probably because the magical realism aspect in this book incorporated with college lifestyle didn't really work as much as it did for Echo Brown's childhood and how she was pretending she was a witch to kind of escape all of the traumatic events that were happening in her life. Something about the incorporation of magical realism in the college setting wasn't really it for me, in my opinion. But I would definitely still recommend The Chosen One because the story was still very powerful. It's still based on Echo's actual life. So it's very interesting to see what she had to go through. But yeah, so I guess I read 4 books this week and I started a 5th one with my boyfriend that we're going to finish up later this week. I am going to end this vlog here. I would highly suggest following my Bookstagram account because I have been putting up book reviews on the books that I've been reading as I go along. So if you want to hear my thoughts on Ashes of Gold, I would suggest following me on there because I'm going to put my thoughts up on there since of course it didn't fit in this reading vlog. If you made it to the end of this video, please comment down some sunshine emojis down below because it was a very sunny week and it was spring break. If you like this video, please give it a big like, comment down below, subscribe to my channel if you're not already, make sure your notification bell is turned on so you don't miss any videos that I upload here on this channel. I hope you guys are having an amazing day and an amazing week whenever you're watching this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!